But, oh gosh, probably 6 years ago now, I met a person who tells stories in a completely different way than I do. And the moment that we met, it was as if we were intended to meet our entire lives, and the universe brought us together to create something beautiful together, and then continue to create beautiful things together. You have seen these incredible portraits this evening, created by the incomparable photographer, Dean Whitbeck. I would like to welcome Dean to the stage now to talk to you about his process, to talk to you about his involvement in this project, and to bask in the glow of your magnificent praise, because he deserves every second of it. Dean.
I knight you.
Thank you so much.
I'm also going to get my water.
Don't drink.
All right.
It's vodka. I can't do this
I'm
alone.
going to drink it.
Thank you. This, Aaron and I started years ago with the Holocaust project we did at the JCC. And it was really, that was a project that fully informed, it really informed the way that we would go forward working together. And what I mean by that is it was sort of this process of not just working with Holocaust survivors, but it was really, for me, it was the first being embedded in mental health. Because at its core, the level of trauma that Holocaust survivors that we were working with was just immense. And it was just really profound that by the time that we started were working with them, they were between 80 and 90 years old. And if you think about it, by the time the liberation of Auschwitz happened, they were 8 or 9 years old. They were children. So you can imagine what that trauma must have been for the next 70, 75 years to tuck something so powerful away. But it's always there. So it led me to think about something, because in those 70 years, I go back to this idea. When I was growing up, my dad always used to tell me that we're all one paycheck away from being homeless. And the context with which he told me that was really about just keep working. Just keep hustling, diversify your portfolio of work, or not be a workaholic, but make sure that whatever you're, diversify your portfolio of work and be purposeful about it. As I got older, I realized that line, we're all one paycheck away from being homeless, and paycheck and homeless kind of moved into more of a symbolism. And that is the fact that there is great equity in that statement, that we are all one paycheck away from seeing the underbelly of humanity. We're all one paycheck away from being cast out, stereotyped. So the being embedded in this project with If You Could See Me has been really about this idea of listening to these participants tell amazing stories, but really that idea of the work it takes to be human, the constant work it takes, mental health or not. Just the last thing to say is I've been working for the last 4 or 5 months with St. Paul's downtown and the Richmond Police Department. St. Paul's they do a weekly, for 30 years they've been doing a weekly lunch for the homeless. And the Richmond Police Department has been coming there to support them. And it's really interesting because such a high percentage of the folks that are wonderful in this program who get a free lunch and who are homeless, they keep doing the work, as we're all doing. And so there is a reminder that there is, for everyone, we have to build a seat at the table for everyone. And this part of what Aaron is doing here and what these participants are sharing is just that. They are, you know, creating their own seat at the table, and I'm going to scoot up next to them, and we're going to sit at that table. I'm grateful. Photography for me, you know, this photography is, the camera's a tool of the mind. Just as the pen was for these writers, as a paintbrush is for a painter, as, you know, Ritalin is for a young mind that has ADD. These are tools of the mind, tools for the mind, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. And it's a really beautiful process that to be involved in, but most importantly, to hear it. It certainly over the years has changed me in working with you guys, so I deeply appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.